All right. We are Sunday the 20th, and tomorrow is a big event in the world. We are having, for the first time in many, many years, a solar eclipse. And actually, quite interestingly, I'm in Kansas City, which is just about 30 miles from the total eclipse. Considering if I should go or not, it looks like I've got my own solar eclipse going on right in front of your face. So here's the deal with the Kabbalah of Eclipse. Now, this is really a very significant issue because it speaks about that the sun represents the time of exile and the moon represents the Jewish people. The moon is a receiver from the sun. Of course, the sunlight bounces off the moon and gives us light. We are entering into the month of Elul, the month preparing for, please God, next year we'll already have the complete and final Messianic redemption. And the kissing of the sun and the moon is a most Messianic process. It is what it says that when God made the world, the whole purpose of the world was for the coming of the Messiah, which what does that actually mean? Many of us have these vague notions, but the deepest meaning of the coming of the Messiah, as explained in Kabbalah, is that effectively it is the internalization and the unification of God and man. And the only real example of this is a marriage. Because in a marriage, three separate things occur simultaneously. The first is the man, the second is the woman, and the third is there's a unique bond that the two of them share. And if it is a real marriage where they're both equal partners, then what begins to occur is that they work together almost imperceptibly. I gave a lecture in our synagogue this Sabbath, and I said it is like a dance. You know, somebody who's dancing is not dancing if they are like a robot just moving in very stick shift type of way. But if you are flowing, then you are dancing. All art must flow. If it doesn't flow, it is not art. It is a science. It is an engineering. It is a rigid form. Art is an expression of the soul. It's an expression of the heart. It is something that flows as opposed to being boxed in any way, shape, or form. So a marriage that's a real marriage is not something that is a partnership like a business partners who may not necessarily trust each other. Obviously they should. It should be a good relationship, but ideally, or I shouldn't say ideally, most often there are contracts. It's not certainly an employee-employer relationship. It's not a relationship necessarily of trust. I'm doing something for you, you're doing something for me. It is an exchange. It is not a true relationship. So the point of the matter is that in a true relationship, it is something which flows while maintaining the identity, the unique identity of all individuals. And so therefore that's the message of the sun and the moon kissing. It's the idea that you can have God the giver and the moon the receiver, and the two of them can become one. And uniquely this is happening in the beginning of the month, the new moon. And the new moon is when the moon is closest to the sun. It's the relationship. It's a little bit like the cycle in a relationship. And when at that moment, at that unification, the moon takes a new energy, and that energy becomes its energy for the month. It goes around in a cycle, and it empties itself, and it gets ready for an entirely new energy for the next coming month. And so this is very analogous to the Messianic process, and I believe that the fact that it's happening now, right before the actual coming of the Messiah, is because this is the actual coming of the Messiah. This is the implementation of the essence of the Messianic revelation, in which the divine self and the human self learn to migrate, learn to marry, and learn to form a new type of self. Thank you.